Okay, so what we've got here is case feeder. The motor has gone bad on it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to replace the motor itself. I went out to our favorite supplier, you know who I'm talking about, and they now want $200 because they want to replace the entire thing instead of just the motor. So I actually went out on Amazon, and I'll have the links down below to this, but found a couple of motors that seem to work real well. And so I'm going to replace this motor and just going to show you how to do it. So let's start by taking the screws out in here. Now I've already taken a couple screws out because I just figured you didn't want to spend a lot of time watching me take screws out. But I'm going to finish taking all the screws out in here. I'd recommend kind of keeping them in a safe place once they're taken off. And I thought I had that guy fully out. There we go. All right. So I've just got a little container over here I'm putting the screws in. All right. Then flip the guy upside down. Same thing here. I've already taken a few of these guys out. So let me finish taking these out. Okay, once those are out, you just pull this lid up and out, and down in here is our motor, which now you can pull out. So I've got where are you? There you are. You're gonna need a small straight head screwdriver. If you notice here, I'm gonna show you real quick. Blue goes to the first one, yellow goes to the second one. Okay, this is a 24-volt motor. It doesn't matter which side the blue or the yellow gets put on, but you do have to put the blue and the yellow in the block the right way. Otherwise, it'll spin backwards, but that's okay. You just flip them around and then it'll spin forwards. Now, we need to remove this little chipboard from the gear housing. I'll take this guy off here. Oh. There we go. And come. And the last one always wants to be a bit of a problem. Yeah, and he falls down in there. Okay, that's fine. We'll get him later. So, I'm going to set this thing aside. Yep, wrong way. There we go. Set this guy aside. And we're going to bring up the vise. So, first thing we have to do is we have to get the old motor off of the gear. And to do that, first thing we're going to do is we are going to get the roll pin out of the spindle. So now, I used to have a roll pin punch, don't know where it got off to for this video, so I'm just going to have to use a 1/8 inch punch. I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit more and should be able to just run that punch right through. That pin, should say. There we go. And the pin is through. Okay. Let's take this guy out. And tweezers are always good. There's my pin. Okay. Keep the towel handy. All right. So now that we've taken the roll pin out, we need to get the motor off, but the screws to the motor are inside. So we're going to have to take off this gear housing, and then you'll see a few gears in here. So let me go ahead and take this gear housing off. Yeah, unfortunately, this will take a few seconds. I'll bring this guy a little closer. You might ask yourself, why are you not using a power tool? When I'm dealing with this stuff, I usually don't use power tools because you can over torque way too quick, way too easy, strip stuff out. In this case, I'm using, just a handheld screwdriver. Takes a few more seconds, but you get much better control over the torque that you're putting on this. Also, if you notice, this is flush to the back, and if yours is like mine, this roll pin is about 1/8 of an inch too short, and so it tends to skip on the case feeder plate. I don't know if you got the same problems I do, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing to fix that while I'm at it. So, and it's quite simple. We're just going to push this. This is just a pressure fit pin as well. We're going to tap that guy up, and we're going to move him down about 1/8 of an inch, and then that roll pin fits much, much better on that case feeder plate. Okay, here we go. I'm just doing this way so it's a little quicker getting the thing out. Okay. All right, now, as I take this off, I'm going to have you take a real good long look at this. So this is what we've got here. Okay, this guy kind of fell out. There it goes. So this is the gear coming out of the motor. This is these are step down gears. So this gear's got to come out first. And I've just got a little glass bowl here. I'm going to put that in, something that's not going to take up a lot of this grease. And I'm just going to pull these guys out. All right. This guy comes out second. If I can get him out there. Come on. Okay. All right. And then this guy's just going to come out. So this guy comes out third. Okay. I'm going to set the rest aside. Oh, sorry, I'm going to take this guy off too. So this guy comes off fourth. All right, and now we've got access to both sets of screws. Now, these screws are going to be pretty tight, so you just use a regular number 2 screwdriver. Okay. Just put it in there and press really, really hard because they have kind of a Loctite kind of situation going on with their screws. Now these screws I'm going to leave out separately. I'm not going to put them in with the others because we're about ready to put them back in here in a second. Okay, here's one. I'm going to set him off to the side. Then the other one. Really having to put a lot of downforce on that to get that thing to break. Sorry it's taking me so long to get these off, but they really have something with the thread that'll really causes them to be sticky. Now I'm pulling this guy out. I'm going to set this guy aside, and I'm going to take and pull off as much of this grease as I can, because we're going to want that a little bit later. Okay, just set that aside for now. Okay. And if you can see here real close, I don't know if you can catch it, but this is actually angled. So this is not a straight 12 tooth gear. So I'm going to have to actually use this gear. So what you do here is I'm going to make the vise so that it's clamping on these sides right here, and we're going to punch that pin out. We're going to punch that guy out here in just a second. So this little guy right here is the pin that goes all the way through. And the 1/8 inch punch that I just used to take out the roll pin, use the same punch. Okay. And then use something like a pair of lineman's pliers. Try and get it the rest of the way out. Okay, well, if it won't go that way, we'll do it this way.
So you're gonna use that to pull it out?
I'm actually gonna set this in here, and then I'm gonna take the lineman's pliers, and I'm just gonna set these in such a way that I hope I can get them out. Well, do it this way, I guess. I'm not actually trying to pinch it off. I'm just trying to put over top of the gear, and then I'm gonna, there we go, and just pull the gear down. Sometimes this pin won't come all the way out, but there is our helix coil gear that we're going to put on our other motor. So this motor, we're going to take these wires off later. Now let's get our new motor, and we're going to need to install this on that motor. Now this little round thing here, that is the end of that shaft, and so what we're going to do is we're going to open up our vise so that we're not damaging anything else or doing anything, but I'm just going to set the bottom of that shaft just on the top of that vise. I'm going to put this guy on there and hold on to him best as I can. Okay. That's it. We actually want that little bit of a gap there, by the way. So, reason for that is here are where the screw holes are, but if you notice, this unit has a fan with it, and it's got gaps. And so because of that, darn grease gets everywhere. Because of that, we're going to actually be putting small washers in here as a spacer. Okay. Now I took 2 washers, and I need those holes because of the screws, but then I cut 1 washer in half, and I'm going to use that as a spacer on the 2 sides otherwise, so that this thing won't rock, that it'll stay nice and solid. That'll give enough airflow through there that that fan will work, and it'll actually help keep that motor cool. But of course, with that, there's a little bit of a gap as well, so we want to keep that guy just a little bit higher. Now, that grease that I saved, I'm going to run this thing through that grease. Okay. There, I got it nice and greased up. And now we're going to put this guy back up and in. There we go. Oh, oh great. Well, accidents happen. Okay. So, got this guy here. Just making sure yeah, best laid plans, right? Okay. And now we're going to screw the new guy in. You know what? I'm looking at this, and I'm not quite happy enough yet with the height of that gear. So I'm going to actually tap that gear down a little bit further. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this guy on here like this, and I'm actually gonna take probably this. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, well. Okay, I'm trying to get just a little bit more out of that. And it's, how to do that. Let's see here. I know what I'm going to do. Sorry guys, a little bit of unplanned detour here, but I'm not happy with how far up this is yet on the gear, so I am going to take this with this gear. I'm going to open that up just enough so that gear there we go. We got a little bit more out of it. That's what I was looking to do. Sorry for the detour there, folks. Okay. And obviously from the little accident you just saw me have there a few minutes ago, it's a good idea to, secure this stuff as best you can. But oh, let me bring this over here so you can see it. So I'm just screwing in screws. You can see that the gears are making contact. Okay, grabbing my other screw, making sure he's on there good. And as always, he doesn't want to be on there good, so do the best you can with what you got. Okay. Now we're gonna close this guy all the way up. Okay. Now I'm gonna tighten these screws down good. Alrighty. Now, if you recall, we took our number 4. He was right side up, and we're going to put him right there. Okay. Now, if you recall, I said something about changing up the large one so that it is a little bit, so that the roll pin's a little bit lower. See this flat spot right here? Well, we're going to do something very similar. We're going to just get this so that it passes. Okay, and then I'm going to edge it just a little bit. Not really to tighten it up, but just to make sure that it doesn't flop too much. Then I'm going to take a 3/16 inch punch, and I'm going to take a Sharpie or something like that, and I'm going to kind of put a mark on that so I can kind of see when my punch has gotten it down there a little further. It kind of gives me about an 1/8 inch mark. Okay, and then I'm just going to punch it. In fact, I'm going to tighten it up a little bit more. Oh, wrong way. Okay, just a little off that. There you go. Now, there we go. I could feel it move. There we are. So now I've moved that something close to an 1/8 inch. Okay. Then this guy will go in next. I'll get this right. All right. Then we get our big fella. He goes upside down. Okay. And then we take our little guy. And he too goes upside down. And he takes a little bit of work to get, but there you go. It's all in. Okay. So we've got all the pieces and parts on. We're ready to put this guy back. This cover goes back. Okay. And then we're ready to screw screws in. Whoop. Now, screwdriver. Yeah, I'm going to take a second to clean this screwdriver off. He's got a little bit of grease on him. Can never do this job without getting a little greasy. So when I punched that pin down, I used a wider Sharpie, so I had about 1/8 of an inch on that. And you'll bang on it for a little bit, and then you'll feel it kind of give, and that 1/8 of an inch kind of disappears, and then you know that you're good. I've done that now with several of my motors, and I'm very happy with what I got. It really bites into those case feeder plates now, and I don't have the problem with them skipping and jumping like they used to. You'll notice too, you can validate that by taking a look, and you'll see that it's all the way down there. Now, actually, to be honest with you, it's a little bit far, so we're going to actually punch that back just a hair in just a second. It's easy enough to do. Finish this guy up. I think that's my assistant behind the camera yawning. Okay. Alrighty. Getting all the grease off everything. Now, once again, you see that there's a gap in there. Don't know if you can see that very well. The gap's a little further than I care. So since this thing's already back in and it's kind of straightened out, I'm just gonna let's see here. I'm getting this wrong every time. I want to open this up a little bit so that that just resides right there, and then just couple of taps down. There, that's about where I want it. It's right there. Okay. All right. Now we got to put the roll pin back in. There's my roll pin. I'm going to do the same thing I've done before. Trap this guy in. Man, the grease gets everywhere. Careful as you try to be, it just gets everywhere. Okay. All right, pop this guy out, take a look. Just got to kind of level him up there a little bit. Yeah, close enough there. All right. Just trying to even him up a little bit more. In fact, that's probably what I'll do there. I know about how much I want. I'm just gonna tighten him up, and I'm gonna tap till it hits the top of the vise. There. That should even him up. Yeah, a little too far. All right. Come on. Get in there. There we go. Okay. Got him evened up. All right, now we've got to change out the wires. So I'm going to cut the heat shrink. And be honest with you, I thought I had some 3/16 inch heat shrink, but I don't. So for now, I'm just going to solder it together and I'll throw this heat shrink back over it, and then I'll come back in with some electrical tape somewhere in the future here. All right, so I'm going to, in fact, I'll just do this. Okay, I've had a soldering iron over here warming up. Let's just hold that on there for a second or two and it should come off. There we go. Got a little touch of solder to the face. That feels good. Okay, so this motor is a boat anchor. All right, so let's get our other motor up here. And we're going to just move these guys out of the way. Move this out of the way. Let's just clean this place up a little bit first. Okay, so if you recall, blue was furthest away and yellow was closest. Okay, so I'm going to come on. There we go. Alrighty. Now, see if we can get something here that'll hold for us. Blue is furthest away, so let's take our blue and let's bring it around like this. And I'm going to bend that tab up for now and make that easy. Come on, you. There we go. There we go. You know it. There we go. Okay. Okay. There's one. All right. And then we'll bend this tab up. And we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Plug this guy. All right. And I'm going to have to reuse this heat shrink for right now, but I will come back and fix that later. Okay. Yeah. This guy's decided to be a problem. Alrighty, there we go. So, this guy's now ready to reinstall. Let's put this guy down. I'll bring the other thing back up.
Oh, turn it.
I had dropped the screw down here somewhere, but
Dead.
that's it. Oh, there we go. And then one screw fell in, if I recall. Yep, there we go. All right. So we take this guy and we make sure that the block, we make sure that the power block is over to this right hand side. These guys out. Okay. All right, then we take the blue and we screw it in there. All right, and yellow. Screw them in. Once again, if you get those backwards, not going to kill anything, but it will run backwards. So kind of funny when that happens. Now, I'm going to leave this off and we're going to install this first for a reason. I'll explain that reason here in a minute. Okay, this part always gets a little bit funky, but when you line up a couple of these holes, just put these 4 little guys in here. Okay, if I can get these 2 in, that should line me up pretty good on the next 2. Okay, now that should line me up on these last 2 pretty easy. There's always a catch. Got a lead. Thought it would help me, but it actually hinders me just a little bit. Now let me put these guys in. I think it pulled him away just a hair and it wouldn't let him catch. Okay, why are you not letting me catch? Don't think they're different lengths, but maybe I'm wrong. They're different lengths and I am wrong. Darn it. Just by my sheer stupidity and luck, I put the longest ones in the front. Shortest ones go in the front. Okay, sorry that it takes so long just doing this, but okay, finally. Now I can get these two shorter guys. There we go. There we go. Okay, finally got that guy in. Now, we have one other issue, which is, besides the dirt on the inside of this thing, this is now taller. And you can actually scrunch it all down there and smash it all in, but I seriously don't recommend that. So, what I recommend doing is, where's my marker? There it is. Come over 2 1/16 inches and up 5/16 of an inch from here. So 5/16 up, 2 1/16 over. Okay. I'll just do it this way and make it a little easier. Just put a little dot. Now you're going to either make a 2-inch circle and use a coping saw or a jigsaw or a hole saw. In my case, I've got a hole saw, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this guy out. So give me a second here. Now everybody, I realize my hand is directly underneath this thing for right now, but I'm going very slow and there we go. Now I'm going to come around and there we go. Okay, got all little shavings out of here. Take a razor knife. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm cutting some room, and the reason why that motor is larger, for the most part, is because of that fan. I have looked around, and it is very difficult to find a motor now that does not have a fan with it. Now you could just leave the hole and just leave it like that, but I don't like that. So I actually 3D printed a little cap cover for it. And all I'm doing now, you probably can't see very well, but all I'm doing now is just trimming off some of the little rough edges. Okay. Now, tuck everything in. And you can see there that it kind of fits pretty well. Might be over just a little hair, so maybe you get 2 inches instead of 2 1/16, but I found that 2 1/16 works pretty well. Anyhow, you can leave those up. Now what I'm going to do is I have 3D printed this little cap that fits inside like so. Okay, just going to take a little touch of crazy glue. Man, I'm dropping everything today. It's nuts. All right, I'm going to clean that up a little bit more. Want there to be a good connection. Good seal. Okay. All right. So, just going to put a little layer of crazy glue around the edge. Yes, crazy glue works well on plastics and on 3D printed materials. So I can just put that around there like that. And I'm going to drop this guy in and hold him for just a few seconds, and then he'll be good to go. While I'm holding that, I'm going to clean this up a little bit more up here. Okay. And what that does is gives this motor a little bit of space so that the wires aren't getting pinched, the motor's not getting pinched, it's got room to breathe, you know, the whole 9 yards. So, just gotta wait here for this to dry now. Okay. All right. Yep, not dry yet. Hold this here for a second while I do this. Or better yet, you know what I'm going to do? I think if that's not going to stick, then I'm going to put a little more on this guy too. Wow, that thing just does not want to hold tight. All right. We give her another go. That's the first time I've ever had the crazy glue not just take right away. Just kind of tucking the wires around in here just to while I'm doing that too, I'm gonna clean this up. As you can see, this isn't a demonstrator model. This thing's a well-used machine. I've run hundreds and hundreds of thousands of rounds through this case feeder. Hold on to this for a few more seconds. So I put little copious amounts of crazy glue on there, so it might just take a little while for that stuff to kind of dry up and set up. The other thing that'll work too, actually, is PVC cement. You wouldn't think it, but it works actually pretty well on it. All right, let's hope that's now set up okay. And we're gonna tuck this guy in the bottom. Let's now, one thing I did find is that these motors are a little bit louder, and I assume it has to do with the fan, but they're not tremendously loud, that much louder. I mean, they're a little bit louder, but not you know, like jet engine kind of loud. Come on. Here we go. Once again, I don't recommend using a power drill to put these screws in. It's just not a smart idea, I don't think. You can overstrip things and just not good. Now, you're going to find these motors run faster as well. You're not going to have to turn that dial up much at all. Not at all. I'll turn the dial all the way down on the rheostat, and then we'll start to bring it up a little bit at a time till we get it where we want. So, there we go. It should be ready to roll. Let's go get a case feeder plate in this thing. I'll throw 223 in there, I guess. There we go. Put this guy on here. Come on. There we go. Turn the dial down all the way. Now let's turn him on. Oh, it helped if I plugged it in. Jeez. Things that you do while you're live, right? Okay, turn him on. Okay, we got light. Now let's. I got it. All right. Well, just as I was saying, I got the polarity backwards, so it's actually running backwards. You can see they run quite a bit faster.
You can do it again.
Okay, so got to change the polarity. That's fine. Let's go over here and do that. No, I don't like it when it doesn't work perfectly, but hey, this is the real world. So let's come back over here. Take these guys back off. If you find the polarities backwards, you simply switch the blue and the yellow wire down on the block, and you're golden. I believe I had them right when I put them in, but you never know. I could have got it wrong. I don't have this memorized at the moment, and I knew that it wasn't like it was going to be a big problem if it did happen. I just simply got to switch these guys out. So pop this guy off, set him aside. Okay, we're coming in here. We're going to switch the blue and the yellow. Okay, yellow goes in first, blue goes in second now, instead of the other way around. Yeah, kind of hard to see there with the. Come on. Come on, get in there, you little son of a gun. There we go. There's blue, and now we'll take our yellow, and we'll do the same thing. Okay, yellow's in. This time I'll only put 2 of the screws in the bottom because you don't need to sit there and watch me screw things in and out. I'll put the rest of those in here in a minute, but just wanted to give you a general idea. Put this guy and this guy in. Okay. in there. There we go. Okay, now let's watch it again. No plate. Let me get my plate up so you can see what's going on. There we go. Okay. There you go. Certainly more than you'll ever need. Now, I've just replaced the motor in this one. You can see I got my little blue thing there. Want to just give you an idea about how fast these things can go. And where are you? There you go. Give you a general idea about how fast these things can go when you're running them. I've got about 109 millimeters in here, and I've got a 9mm plate in this guy. So let's see how this goes. And you can see up here that it's only about 35%, maybe 40% of the way up. So anyway, that's it. That's changing the motor out, and it wasn't perfect, that's for sure, but it's the real world. So you can do it. If you need help with anything, just give me a shout, and we'll see what we can do for you. Thanks.